Most people above the age of 21 have already had the best day of their life. And if you're above the age of 21 and you think that this could be, now you're just thinking about it, a prospect in your life, and this could be a possibility that it's true for yourself, it should be fucking scary. Because think about it, you've probably got 60 years, right? Probably, average age, maybe about 80. Whether healthcare and food is getting better or worse, and whether we'll live longer or shorter is a different story. But certainly around 80 right now, in the Western world is the average age. And if you're past the age of 21, let's just say you've been to uni, you've had your partying days, and you're thinking of settling down in an office job, and you think that the best day of your life is still to come. Have a deep think about that. Think about all the parties that you went to, all the fun that you've had, and the fact that that's now probably over. And then if you flip it and you think, oh no, I'm gonna keep partying, keep having a good time, your life will still just decline because you've had the best parties. You've been at that age where partying has well and truly gone. And this is not the case for myself because I've never had the attitude where I would allow this to happen, and my life is always going to be on an upwards trajectory, not just in terms of success and literal terms, finance, anything like that, but also in terms of attitude. Every single year that I have been alive, a lot of people say near New Year's Eve, for example, they say this year's been so shit. I've never in my life once said that, because why the fuck would I have just lived for a whole year for it to be shit? Every single year I've lived of my life has been the best year so far. And it was the case last year, and it will be the case this year, because every single year gets better. And if that's not your attitude, you need to change your attitude. Even if something really tragic happened, your fucking mum dies. Even if your mum died that year, that doesn't mean you had a shit year. It doesn't mean that your life is now shit from now. Just change your attitude and change your framing. But more on the point, most people over the age of 21 have genuinely already had the best day of their life, especially over 30, right? Because you probably had your first kid, you might have got married already, maybe not in modern day, but you might have done that. Think of a female's best day of their life, probably the wedding day, right? If you've done that by 30, sorry to say, you've lived the best day of your life, and you will never top that feeling again. How depressing is that? Genuinely. There's no way that me personally, I could exist knowing that life is just gonna increasingly get shitter, and I'm just gonna get older, get more wrinkles, your dick's gonna get less hard, and life gets shitter. I don't really see that as a possibility, to be honest. And I feel like, especially for people, as I said at the start, who may have just gone to uni and lived their best years, and now they're going to sit in an office for the rest of their life. That's such a depressing thought. I genuinely feel bad for a lot of people, and I know that that's normal, which is, again, what makes it even more sad, because you've already, you're not a kid anymore. You're not going to enjoy the Christmas days as much as you did. You're not going to, you've already experienced traveling, most likely. You've already experienced a lad's holiday. You might have been on a gap year. That's never going to happen again. And the true point of this is that if you choose to live like a normal lifestyle that everyone else lives, everyone else is fucking depressed as fuck. And I don't really understand why people don't get it, Oh yeah, I'll get a mortgage, I'll get a great job in London, and I'm happy to have 3 weeks off a year and book that off a year in advance, and not have freedom. And you risk all of that to follow the path of people who aren't happy. People who don't really feel like they are fulfilled. And the only way that you can guarantee that you won't end up like that and you won't end up with regrets is to fucking take risks, take action, and go a different way to the people that you can evidently see with your own eyes are unhappy and have lived a shit life. Because if you really, have a bird's eye view of what the average person is doing with their life and has done with their life, it's shit. I genuinely can't think of anything worse. So you're telling me you go to university, get in debt, made up word, and from that university degree that you spent years trying to get, well, I say that people who go to university that I've met are not only the most stupid people, but also genuinely the most uneducated and the laziest people that I've ever met. They do just spend 3-4 years doing absolutely fuck all, and then they get to the end of the 3 years and they have to write like a 8-page paper, and apparently that's hard. Separate topic, but you do that, you put the work in, in your own brain because you've been told that it's hard work, and you come out, use a bit of paper that they give you that you just spent 50 grand on at least to get a job that you're going to do for the rest of your life, and you're 21 years old. And after that point, after you've got your big job, the best things in life to come for you are having kids, getting married, and getting promotions, and maybe a holiday per year. It does genuinely baffle me, like when you do look at it from a bird's eye view and you kind of ponder on what the norm is, it's so backwards. It shouldn't be normal. And yeah, I hope that everyone watching this hasn't lived the best day of their life, but unfortunately, in my opinion, most of you have. Unless you change that, which is very much possible. And if you do, congratulations. And I feel like that's a very, very rare thing nowadays, to take a different path. Social media's kind of fucked up everyone. And I think that we have a false perception, especially if you just spend all day on TikTok. Like you think everyone's different and everyone's on a different path and everyone's like more successful than you. But then if you go out on the weekend or you look at, who you grew up with, everyone's doing shit. Everyone's doing absolutely fuck all and everyone's completely normal. And yeah, not that it affects me. I just feel bad for everyone who doesn't realize it yet, because when you're 30, 40, 50, you didn't take those chances, you didn't leave that girl, you didn't start that business, you didn't leave your hometown. You will be the one that regrets it, not me. Just something I was pondering on. Have a good one.